Hi. Thank you for coming to my panel. My name is Mike Selinker. I'm a game designer. You picked the wrong panel. This thing should probably have trigger warnings all over it, but it's fine. It's fine. Just if you have to hide under the chairs, it's okay. No one will know. I won't take pictures of you while you do it. This panel, as you can see from the slide, is called Horror Show: Horror Games and the Art of Betrayal. Now, that's a word that some of you may not know. Would you like to know what it means? Okay. Horror show, from the Russian, means very good. You may have encountered it in this context, where horror show becomes horror show in the book and later film A Clockwork Orange, in the slang NASDAQ. I think it's nice to have something where Russians and English speakers can have something to agree on every now and then. And this one, you'll note the dual meaning of this, which is it now means both very good and terrifying. This is the space that I will be spending the rest of the hour. If that's not good for you, door, 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 door. So, what makes a game worthy of the word horror show? Well, I want to tell you what doesn't first. It's not a sideshow. This game is called Unspeakable Words. I made it, actually I dreamed it. I swear to God, I dreamed this game from start to finish after playing both Arkham Horror and Scrabble on the same day. It's got H.P. Lovecraft stuff. You lose sanity when you make words. It's great. It's a fun little game. It's not a horror game. It's a gambling game. It's just got some horror stuff. It's not a freak show. It just doesn't have weird characters in it. This game is called Abe's Odyssey. It is a brilliant game about a Mudakin who gets in trouble and tries to save people with the power of his gastric emissions. It's not a horror game. It's not a creep show. You just don't get to put big scary monsters in something and call it a horror game. This game is called Diablo. It is not a horror game. You have never once been scared playing this game. You are very powerful in this game. The demons just fall away like cordwood. This is not a horror game. It's not a peep show. It's not a game that appeals to your baser instincts. Just because it has blood in it does not make it a horror game. This game is called Postal. The only horror is that someone made it. I didn't know you were here, Uwe. A horror show is a game where you are the victim or the victimizer or both. This is the space that if you give yourself to this game, it will give you, well, let's call it something of value back. In all of these games, and this is just a smattering of ones I could have chosen, these are horror games. These are games where at some point when you were playing them, you were legitimately scared. When that single spider leg comes down in limbo. When Iko can't let go of the princess's hand because she's gonna be eaten by shadow demons. When you typed into Depression Quest, I feel okay, and you were wrong. These are horror games. These are games that legitimately got you. You can get them from video games pretty easily, but you can also get them from these. These games are played around a table with friends. What are you thinking? I mean, one of you is a ghost in Mysterium and can't talk. The rest of you think that's funny. It's important to understand that these are very different kinds of games. We're not talking about a genre here in terms of like style of games. Dread is not the same kind of game as Zombicide. They can evoke very similar reactions. By the way, if there's any of these games you don't know about, you see them on screen, ask me afterwards. I'll happily point you toward them. They're all great. Here's what they have in common. They're all solo, or cooperative, or both, but they might not stay that way. They give you the sense that you are usually on the same side with everybody you're playing with until some point when you realize that may not have been the smartest thing you could have agreed to. I want to give you an example of how that comes across. And, you know, it's hard to sort of take a full game and just reduce it to one thing, so I'm not even going to try. I'm going to give you an entire game right now. This is a 200-word RPG by Morgan Davey. It's called Holding On. You should go to tailturn.com if you get a chance. There are many short RPGs there. This one I particularly like. Holding On again. One person hangs over an abyss. Another person holds onto them for now. There are two players, above and below. Above stands higher than below and grasps their wrist. Below looks into above's eyes. Above. Try not to blink. Hold below's wrist. Tell below things you will do together soon. When below says no, move your grip to their hand. When you hold below's hand, tell below things they need to know. When below says no, move your grip to their fingers. When you hold below's fingers, breathe once, close your eyes. Below, look into above's eyes. Talk as you will, but don't let above trick you. Each time above blinks, say no. When above's eyes close, pull your hand out of their grasp. This game, in 10 seconds, might be the scariest game you've ever played if you don't know it's coming. There is no reason to believe that above is tracking anyone's blinks, especially not their own. But above is going to suddenly know that they are not in control ever again. That's a horror game. So let's talk about Betrayal. All right, anybody here not know what Betrayal at House on the Hill is? Okay, great. Thank you. Betrayal at House on the Hill is a game from 2004. It was originally prototyped by a fellow named Bruce Glasgow. And I want to tell you how it came to be. There was some betrayal. Here's the story of how Betrayal on House on the Hill got published. Bruce Glasgow submitted this game to Avalon Hill. Avalon Hill was bought by Hasbro. Hasbro fired everyone at Avalon Hill and had no idea what was in Avalon Hill. Eventually, Rob Daviau went looking through a drawer and found a weird little manuscript called House on the Hill. And he thought, this is interesting. I've never seen a game like this. Oh well, I make games, Rob Daviau says. I'll make this one. So he goes to his friends and colleagues at Hasbro and says, I want to make this game. It's got 3 rule books. It's got pentagonal characters. It's got dice, it's got cards, it's got tiles, it's got millions of tokens, and they looked at him like he had grown 3 heads. Said, I don't think you know what we make here, Mr. Davio. We don't make that kind of game. Go get me another elephant. And so Rob, not particularly willing to make another elephant, threw that over to me. I worked at a company called Wizards of the Coast, which had been bought by Hasbro as well. They didn't fire everybody there. And I was the person in charge of R&D for this kind of thing, and he threw it over the transom to me, and I said, this is pretty good. I'll bet I can make it into something good. So I went to my people. Now I work at Wizards of the Coast. It's an enlightened company, and what it said, and I said to them, look, I've got this new game. It's got 3 rule books, it's got dice, it's got pentagonal characters, it's got tiles, it's got cards, it's got a whole bunch of tokens, and they looked at me like I had grown 3 heads. And they said, Mike, there is no way we are ever going to publish this game. I said, well, that's a real shame. So we still need a game. I said, oh, okay. At that point, I had now made Axis and Allies Revised, Axis and Allies D-Day, and Risk Godstorm. And they said, we want one like that. I said, okay. I got a game for you. It's called Titan. You should go get it. It's by a guy named Dave Trampier. The game is about piles of monsters beating up on other little piles of monsters. It'll be perfect for you. They said, that sounds great. And they went to go get the game from Dave Trampier. What I didn't tell them was that Dave is a black helicopter kind of guy. Dave is the kind of person who sees people coming on his lawn and double cocks his shotgun to find out who they might be. They came running back. And they said, we couldn't get Titan. I was like, that seems a real shame. He's scary, they said. I said, I really feel sorry for you. They said, we still need a game. I said, well, I got this game. It's got 3 rule books. It's got pentagonal. They said, great, print it. And that's how Betrayal at House on the Hill got published. Betrayal works because there are victims and a victimizer, but no one knows who. If everybody knew, it would be a totally different game. But at some point in the game, we switch to find out that one of these people has betrayed us from the beginning. Didn't know who. Even the person who does the betraying didn't know who. That's how clever it is. So that game has been out for a while. It's done pretty good. I didn't actually know it had done pretty good. It was pretty much not really a success when it came out in any way, but say about 8 years after it came out, people started coming up to me and saying, this is like the best game I've ever played. It's the thing that got me into the hobby and stuff like that, none of which I thought was merited. So for a while, I stayed away from Betrayal. It was something I did in the past. I left Wizards, I moved on. It has a way of sticking with you. And so, 12 years later, I decided to listen to folks when they said, let's go back to the house. And we made a thing called Widow's Walk. It allowed me to bring in all of my friends who make all sorts of things. Pendleton Ward, who makes Adventure Time, and Max Temkin, who makes Cards Against Humanity, and Laser Melina Weber from the Doubleclicks. They all got to make betrayal scenarios because they just really liked the game. And for some reason, it just tripped a trigger with them, and I think that's great. But it's a troubling trigger when you come right down to it. It's a nice thing to have an understanding that everyone around the table is potentially going to screw you over, even if they don't know it at the time. Like, that's a deal you're willing to make. I don't know who you people are. In the meantime, we made a game called Saints. Saints was a horror game set in the modern day. You may not have heard of Saints, probably don't have a copy because I believe I have one of the only ones. It became this thing. Pathfinder Adventure card game is a horror game. It is a game in which you voluntarily agree to suit up some really nice looking sharp characters, and the game just tries to grind them into meat over the course of the game. You make this deal as well. Pathfinder works because all the players are victims and the game is the victimizer. You actually buy copies of this. Thank you very much. Because if you really understood what was in my head while you're putting it on your table, you might think carefully about it. But fundamentally, the game is designed on a razor edge to just pound you into nothingness. But yet, there's a chance, actually a reasonably good chance, that you come out ahead of it. So we kept at that, but we made a bunch of Pathfinder, but we really liked that game, Saints. So we made this. It's a game some of you have played, some of you hadn't. I had the fortune to meet a couple named Chelsea and Gavin earlier today who had popped open a copy of the game and were puzzling their way through it. And I just sat down with them and said, "Do you want me to show you how to play this game?" They might be here. It's a game set in the modern day, and by that I mean that it takes place on the day you are playing it. There's an app that changes it every day for you. The concept is that you are saints. You can see all the monsters in the world. They can see you too. They don't like you. You want to stop the apocalypse. They think it's an awesome idea. And so it's grown quite a bit. It's got new expansions out that you can play, but fundamentally it's like the Pathfinder game, except it's playable as both an RPG and a game against the game. Would you like to see some of it? Okay. Well, let's see a cool video. I made this a few years back, and it had a musical accompaniment by the Doubleclicks. So here they are.
Hello.
Let me hold on. Let me get to the slide.
Okay.
Don't sing. Don't sing.
No singing.
No singing.
We're just gonna sing a little lullaby while you watch a video. Take a break from this horrible thing.
Whoops, I did something wrong. Don't panic. Why can't I do what I did?
This man learns how to use a computer.
There we go. Go ahead.
Sing a little lullaby for Mr. Bear. Tell him that you love him and that you are there. Mr. Bear needs to know you're there. So sing a little lullaby for Mr. Bear. You are ready to go to sleep. You and Mr. Bear are tucked in tight. Won't it feel good just to go to sleep and close your eyes, counting 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. When the lights turn out, the darkness comes, and I fear it. I can see the monsters and the ghosts and the spirits. You need to be watchful. Why do you close your eyes? Mr. Bear needs protection from the torture and demise. Out goes the light and it's dark as coal. The monsters feed on dreams and they're coming for your soul. Don't look now, child, it's better you not see. Just wait here for your doom, counting 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And sing a little lullaby for Mr. Bear. Tell him that you love him and that you are there. Monsters everywhere. Mr. Bear needs to know you're there. So sing a little lullaby for better say your prayers.
Hey, yeah!
Bet you didn't see that coming. Aubrey and Laser, everybody. If you like that, at 8:30 on Saturday, you can see them again with more than one song. Apocrypha works in two modes, as I mentioned. The RPG mode works because the players are victims who let the guide be the victimizer. That's a fair deal. We're all clear that we're going to work together as long as somebody else is the one that's shoveling us the punishment. Mostly works in the sense that players are pretty good at inflicting that punishment on themselves over the course of the game. The funny thing about Apocrypha is that you're badass superheroes in it. Only problem is you've forgotten everything about all your superpowers, and you have to regain them over the course of your memories. I made this game out of research on Alzheimer's disease. That's scary. Alzheimer's disease isn't something that you look at and you go, I'll bet I can make something fun out of that. But I do. Because I'm scared of Alzheimer's disease. So I want to make something fun out of it. And maybe it won't scare me so much. I think that's part of why people become horror writers. But I'm leaving something out. We're at PAX, we should talk about Thornwatch. This is a horror game. It is designed, as you can see, by not only the folks at Lone Shark Games, Chad Brown, Rodney Thompson, myself, but also Mike Krahulik and Jerry Holkins. You may have heard of them. I can honestly say you wouldn't be here without them. Mike and Jerry obviously started PAX and Penny Arcade, but they also had this idea for a world in which the entire planet was covered by a forest that churns and tears towns away from each other. And there's this terrible goo called the ebb, which infects all the creatures of the forest, turns them into monsters. Good little things get hurt here. On the left, you will see the Grove Lion pup. He's just a little tree, guys. And on the right, you'll see the Grove Lion pup as well. His daughter has been killed. He doesn't know what's going to happen to it. What's going to happen to it is you. You're the ghostly spirits of vengeance that come and solve everybody's problems. What must the problems be if calling ghostly spirits of vengeance is a good idea? That's the nature of this game. The good little things get hurt, but they do grow up to be big and strong. That's the Grove Lion when it turns out all the way. These illustrations, of course, are by Mike Krahulik. The concept of Thornwatch as a horror game might surprise you in the sense that it's just a bunch of people running around in a forest, and yet nothing good ever happens. The villagers constantly get into trouble. If they didn't, there would be no game. They go and tie a bramble knot in a tree and summon the Thornwatch to solve their problems, and they come, and then they disappear. And yet, that's super heroic. That's what we want in life. We want people to save us from the horror. Thornwatch works because the world is all victims at the mercy of the judge. There are no non-victims in this game. And only you can stop the victimizer. That's a dynamic you should sign up for. That's a dynamic that makes you feel like you're actually a force that can stand against horror. Might work. You never know. I've probably got some reasons why it won't. But give it a try. So how do we make these games? I can't give you everybody's plan. I am a maker of horror games. Other people have different approaches. I feel like my approach works for my team, might work for you. I encourage this approach. The goal of becoming a serial killer may not seem a path you'd like to be on, and I don't recommend you take that literally, but you will note that there are a lot of Post-it notes in this picture. This is how we make these games. We don't write linear narratives. We don't write a story from start to finish. Instead, we write it on a whole bunch of Post-it notes. We write it on index cards. We write it in fragments. And then we pull it together. We connect them like the detective that's tracking the serial killer. He takes a string and moves it over here, and there's this playing card with a joker on it and a question mark on it. Why is that there? Well, there's a connection. There's a string. You can only do this if you can gain a large amount of information that is beyond your ability to hold in your head. The reason we do this is because it's too big for us, but the other reason is that if we looked directly at it, if it were ever completely in front of us, it would scare us. But we can break it up. We can break it into pieces, and we can make it so that it doesn't shock us. What we're writing seems like a normal day at the office. Yet if you saw what we were writing in a normal day in the office, you might not want to be in our office. So at Lone Shark, as you can tell, that's my company, we have a nice stable of horror games. I listed a few of them for you. There's some others. And you think after all of this, after Betrayal and Pathfinder, Apocrypha, Thornwatch, I'd be satisfied. I'm not satisfied. Would you like to see what I'm working on now? Okay. Okay. But here's the deal. Cone. Silence. Everybody in this room is part of something that could change or morph, might not be the same. Certainly everybody who's watching this on Twitch, we're all in agreement, right? And we won't tell anybody. There's a thing that I'm hesitant to say about Betrayal. So I don't want to betray Betrayal. But you know what? Betrayal has issues. A lot of people have brought them up to me over the years. They got lists, man. They got it's too random. It misfires. You play the first half of it and you're aimless. You can't strategize. I hear this all the time. You know what? It's still a fun game. But I hear it. I hear it a lot. And I'm pretty lucky. I got to help make the world's best trader game. That's pretty neat. Doesn't have to be my best trader game. If I made another one, would that be cool? Be cool if I got these folks to help. This is not a random assortment of people. Some of the names you might recognize from that video, they're the team that works at Lone Shark Games on Pathfinder and Apocrypha and Thornwatch. But the other names you might not recognize because they're the team that works on Ascension. They're the team that works on Shards of Infinity. That's Justin Gary's team. And we put our heads together and said, would it be cool to work together on something? Would it be cool to make something that maybe carried on that legacy of Betrayal? It'd be cool. This is Hyde Society. This is a new game. We're still working on it. Name might change, you never know. The girl there, she's got a nice, ordinary life ahead of her, unless she drinks the wrong potion. And then she might have a different life ahead of her. I'm not going to tell you much more about this game. It's something that we've been cooking up for now 3 years. We've been playing with all sorts of versions of it. We think that we've got it now to the point where it's distilled and it works pretty well. We're writing the scenarios for it. I just told you there's scenarios in it. I didn't mean to do that. I actually really didn't mean to do that. All right. Anyway, so I don't know when this is coming out. It's you'll see it later in the year. I don't know. I hope you'll like it when it comes out. That's all I say. I hope you'll give it a try. I'm a better game designer than when I did Betrayal, so we'll see if this pays off. Anyway, that's Horror Show. Thanks for letting me in your head. I'll get out soon, I promise. Thank you, guys. All right. I did manage to get through that faster than I thought, which makes me happy. The fine performance by the Doubleclicks in the center certainly kept me on my game. I had to keep up with that. So I have time to answer a bunch of questions, and I'd like to do that. We have a live mic going around, is that correct? Let me see if I don't go anywhere. Oh, before we get to that though, let me make sure. Did anybody not get a card that wants one for the Maze of Games thing? The enforcers have them, they'll make sure you have them on your way out. But if folks want to stay for questions, we would be very happy, I'd be very happy to answer them. So I guess we're gonna have a mic here, so if you'd like to ask one, please come up. Are we good? Okay, if you'd like to ask a question, could you come down to right about here? And we'll get a line going. All right, go ahead. Oh, hold on.
I've had the notion.
Okay.
Sorry.
Go ahead. What's your name?
Tony.
Hey, Tony.
I've had the notion that good horror needed some sort of withdrawal of power.
Hold on 1 second. I'm having a little trouble hearing you up here. No, it's fine. It's fine. Can you ask that question again?
Yeah. I've had the notion that good horror needed some sort of withdrawal of power, right? If you can just blast the monster or the enemy, it's not horror. How do you instill that feeling of disempowerment while still, in an RPG, empowering and putting a character in a fun situation?
I tell you you're powerful.
Sorry?
I tell you you're powerful. That's all I have to do. If all I want to do is try to make you feel disempowered, all I have to do is tell you you're powerful. Because I have all the tools in the world to make you discover otherwise. But only if you believe that you're powerful will you feel disempowered. And so the trick is to make sure that people in games sit down with their character sheet or their controller or whatever, feel like they're ready to go, that they're strong-willed, they're ready to do that. And that's when you can actually nail them. You need to just make sure that everybody's constantly a little bit on edge. And so, yeah, I mean, like, there's nothing particularly special about the controllers in Limbo or Typo Man, right? It's just any game that you move forward and try not to die. It's about whether or not you think you can, right? And so, yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of telling you a lie. There's a reasonable chance you'll believe it.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sure.
Hi, my name is Michael. Bit of a fluff question. I'm just curious, what's your favorite scenario in the Betrayal series?
My favorite scenario in Betrayal?
Yeah.
I must admit that I am thrilled to have gotten away with putting the Lucky Charms leprechaun into Betrayal at House on the Hill. I mean, there's no guarantee I pull that off when I'm, just putting the game out. But 12 years later, sure, what are you going to do, fire me? I like that a lot. I think that there are a lot of great ones, but I can't say. The greatest thing was writing Betrayal Legacy before Betrayal Legacy came out. It's scenario 101 in the Widow's Walk expansion when you spend an entire year in the house. That was a totally mind-blowing scenario, and I didn't tell Rob Davio about it at all. I said, yeah, there's 50 scenarios in here, and he believed me. And so when he opened his copy and saw that there was a 51st scenario, and it was Betrayal Legacy, before he could release Betrayal Legacy, that made me feel pretty good.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Justin. I just wanted to say thanks because I am in that subset of people where your board game was my first board game, like real board game, not Monopoly. And it kind of inspired me to continue on with the hobby, so I want to say thanks for that. And also, the guy before me asked my question, so I have no questions.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks.
I'm a little short, sorry. Okay. Hi, so...
What's your name?
Oh, sorry, my name's Tosh. So I'm a game design student, and I was wondering if you have tips for someone who loves horror games, but is too scared to play them.
Yeah. Yeah, get over that.
Can I still be a horror designer? Like, how do I get better at that?
Yeah. Take a fork, jab it into your arm repeatedly.
Okay.
You won't be scared of anything after that. Look, I mean, we have people in our office that are, I shouldn't say that.
No.
They're watching. All right, we have people in our office who are pretty squeamish. And they read the stuff that I write and they go, Mike. And I mean, there's a thing in journalism, I'm a journalist, and there's a thing in journalism where you put a camera in front of your eyes and anything you see is fine, because your job is to take pictures of it. And you can go out into combat or a drug den or anything like that, and you just keep shooting pictures. And I think we do that as a general rule. I mean, we just sort of say, you know what, today I'm running a torture scenario. Okay, I'm gonna get that done, and then what, cheese fries afterwards? Because if you think about it too much, yeah, it's pretty horrifying. You shouldn't do that.
Okay, so it is okay to be scared as a horror designer.
Everybody is. Okay. Everybody is. I mean, I'm not. Actually, everybody but me is.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hi, my name is Mario. I saw your panel at PAX Unplugged in Philadelphia last November. That was the difference between a puzzle, a game, and what is a puzzle game. And one of the things that you outlined was that puzzles kind of have everything set up in their advantage, but the player is still expected to win. And you talked about the elements that brings into some of the games that you designed. So my question to you is, where do you bring that into the horror games, and that you certainly go into like a game of Betrayal expecting to win, but then at a point, many times you realizing you've lost, or the hope completely disappears.
I'd like to pretend that I thought of that myself, and when I quote you later, Please don't feel bad when I take this as my own creation. Because actually it is exact opposite, right? Horror games are designed to tell you that you're going to win and then teach you otherwise, right? I give you all the tools to succeed in a horror game, and then I routinely strip them away from you, one by one, until they're gone. And it's not about what happens to you, it's what happens to your stuff. It's like, you think about it like, oh geez, I don't want to be tortured. I don't want this bad thing to happen to me. But it's really about the attachments that you make along the way. It's the princess in Eco that you can't let fall away. It's the fact that you no longer have light for your camera in Fatal Frame. It's your damn arm that's gone missing. You know, it's all those things that you were pretty attached to that all I have to do is take them away from you, and all of a sudden your definition of yourself is no longer the same. And so, yeah, I think you try to put people through that ringer until they find something else inside them that they didn't think. They built themselves out of a series of statistics and stuff, and instead they're really a person. And that's usually what wins.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Leslie. I was just wondering how you got into horror games in particular.
Why do I do this horrible thing?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
What is the origin story?
Yeah, I don't know. I do other stuff, right? I mean, like, I make positive things too. I don't know. I don't actually, I usually write things because I think everybody else does them wrong. Usually, like, I mean, like I don't like slasher movies. I'm not gonna write slasher fiction, that's stupid. But when I come up with a way to sort of, you know, make your brain twirl inside itself till you don't want it to come out again, that makes me feel pretty good. It's power trip, I don't know. But I don't know, I'm not really a horror fan in the sense of, like, you know, reading horror fiction. I like, you know, some of it, I guess, but I'm more of a mystery puzzle kind of person, and I guess figuring out how you solve your way out of a horror situation is kind of awesome. So, yeah, I don't know, just my thing.
Thank you.
I wish there was a greater answer to that, but.
Hi, I'm Matt. I'm a big fan of the game Dread because of the way the tower is a physical representation of just the tension that's constantly building over the course of the game. I was wondering if you could say any other tools or ways of building and utilizing tension for other games and scenarios.
Well, yeah, it's all about, I mean, pacing is the number one thing, right? I mean, there's a movie that I really like. It's called The Warriors. It's, you know, it's this movie about a bunch of gang members in New York that just have to get from one side of town to another, right? Can't they just hail a cab? It's real simple, right? But no, the characters are terrible. The dialogue is almost non-existent. And the only thing it's got is pacing. It's just got a drum beat that stays with you. And so, tension comes from grabbing onto that and just stringing it like a guitar. Just because, you know, when somebody's expecting the next thing to happen, you drop it earlier or later or louder. Probably the single greatest thing anyone has ever done to me that has caused me terror was we made a game called Guillotine a while back, many years ago. And I built a real-life guillotine. I built a 10-foot tall guillotine. It had a wooden blade, but otherwise a fully functional guillotine. And we brought it to Origins. Getting it ready, and I decided to test it by putting my head inside it. And my friend, Paul Peterson, the designer of Guillotine, dropped a box behind me. That's tension. That's how you make tension work.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Gavin. So I was wondering what you do when you're making game mechanics and you kind of hit like writer's block almost. How do you get past that kind of stuff?
Fear of starvation helps.
Oh, there you go.
It's really simple. I have a company of 12 people, and if I don't come up with stuff, they don't get jobs. So I don't have writer's block, because it would be fatal. And so I think that's, I mean, you know, I don't know if that's a good answer. I mean, there's certainly things like imposter syndrome and stuff like that that are real problems, but I don't have time for it.
All right, thanks.
No problem.
Hi, I'm Jack. My question for you is, in your opinion, who is the best character in Betrayal, and why is it Ox Bellows?
I'm sorry, who's the best character?
The best character in Betrayal, and why is it Ox Bellows?
Why is it Ox Bellows? Yeah. Right, okay, sorry, sure. Yeah, because it's not Flash? I mean, come on. Missy is clearly the best character in Betrayal.
You can't beat the Ox.
I don't think it's Ox. But I like, no, seriously, I like Freddy Akuma. I like Akuma. I like, I mean, he's got a flashlight and he likes bugs. I like bugs. I got a flashlight.
Yeah.
I do have a flashlight.
Hey there. My name is Connor. This question's a little bit leaning towards video games more than board games, but in your perspective, as somebody with a good eye for what works in horror games, what creates a tense situation, what is a common weakness you see in a lot of horror developers that you wish they'd patch up?
Sorry, I missed the last part of that. What was that?
What is a common weakness you see in horror developers that you wish they'd patch up?
Oh, yeah, I think from, hard question to answer. I don't, like, you could catalog everything you've ever seen in a horror movie, and then the same thing will happen and you're still gonna be scared of it. Right, like, I mean, and that doesn't really make sense, because intellectually, you know that the killer's standing right behind her. But when he shows up, you're still like, oh, geez, the killer's standing right behind her. And I don't know why that works. I mean, I think there's something that just sort of overrides a portion of your brain that, you know, or you're willing to let it happen or something like that. I don't think there's a single thing that I can answer that way, but I would say the most important thing, right, is to make sure that at some point you were clever, right? I mean, like, I don't know where it was in the process, but at some point you reminded the audience you were super genius. And then the dumb thing that you throw in there that they've seen 1,000 times before still seems cool.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Hey there, my name's Adam. You've mentioned video games quite extensively during this panel. I was just wondering if there were any particular video games you found to be a particular inspiration when you were making tabletop games.
For my personal design, which video games sort of inspire me? Yeah. Well, I mentioned Limbo as one I really love, but you know, a lot of them were on this slide. I loved American McGee's Alice. I thought it was brilliant. I love how a game like Typo Man can just be a word game and still be terrifying. I think that anything that's got sort of a sing-song story that can just keep playing in my head while I'm playing it's probably great. I mean, I think that most of my games are deep story games, and yet for some reason I don't spend a lot of time playing deep story games. You know, I mean, for example, I love Borderlands. I love everything that Mikey Newman has ever created. But honestly, I don't need to play everything in Borderlands to get all that, right? I just want to know what the story is, I think the ones that keep me are the ones that make me sit there the whole time and make me want to find out what happens behind every turn. Like a game like Framed, for example, is a fantastic one. It doesn't have any words in it. It's just moving around pictures of a person who's running from the cops or something. And it's, you know, it's a horror game in its own right. It's pretty great. And it's just like, you can do that without any words. That's awesome. I'm in.
Nice. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Trian. Thanks so much for finding time for me and everyone tonight.
You're welcome.
Of all the games that you've played and made, what is your favorite game mechanic?
My favorite of just game mechanic?
Yeah, is there a little thing that you've put into a game or that you've seen in one that just really catches you?
Huh. I mean, there's a lot of them. I mean, I just like it when it works out. Like the fact that 100 points seems to be the exact right number in unspeakable words for whether or not somebody goes insane or not is pretty great. I think that, you know, the mechanics for me are part of the job of making a game, and usually it's just some snap thing. Like, you know, when I'm making Apocrypha, I went to my friend Keith Baker's house for a week. He wasn't there. I just stayed in his basement for a week and drew out the game mechanics for Apocrypha. And so, like, that feels really good. And so yeah, I don't have a magic bullet. I think they're all pretty fun.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you.
Okay, one more.
Hello, my name is Perry. This may not relate to like board games too much, but with like jump scares, I've always kind of seen it as cheap fear, but I'm not sure what you think.
I mean, I'm just as susceptible to jump scares as anybody else, right? I mean, but I don't flinch, ever. Except I'm in a guillotine and somebody drops a box. So but for some reason I don't have the flinch mechanic in my brain. I don't have the, you know, that motion, right? And so people think I'm just like really even keel. My heart goes frickin' off the wall. But it stays in my chest, unlike a lot of other people. And so that's not cheap. It's just gotta be done right. You know, it's fun. Do it. Just make sure your head's not in a guillotine. All right, everybody, thanks a lot. I'll be around. If anybody wants...
Dust we will awaken, and life will fill our veins. But these are the moments that we live for. Keep it inside of me. Touch the sky. Tonight we're coming alive. We're not